Most Reverend Archbishop Rafi, Dr. Professor Benedict, Father Joseph Titus, Father Rector, Father President, Father Merlin. They're telling me to keep the mic closer. I had a prepared paper, but when they told me it is 20 minutes, I thought I'd rather share with you straight off from here than go to the podium and waste another 30 seconds going up to the podium. I've taken the topic, the Bible as the foundation, the forerunner, and the future of theologizing in India. When my time is up, please give me a minute before, okay? What is theologizing for us in India today? I begin from that point of view. It is looking at the concerns of the church, concerns of our people, the cries of our people, and finding answers before God, before man, and providing them to our people, providing them to ourselves. And as a biblical scholar, I see no other solution except having the Bible as the foundation of our theology. There are three main pillars of theology in the Catholic Church: the Bible, the tradition, and the magisterium. The input comes and the output comes from the Bible itself. Tradition does not and cannot go away from the biblical teaching, and obviously the magisterium cannot teach what is not there in the Bible. And therefore I've started with the premise that for everything we have to go back to the Bible. So what does tradition and exegesis and magisterium do? It interprets or gives the right interpretation of the Bible. But the basic foundation, the basic basis has to come from the Bible. In India, theology has had a long run. We are a 2,000-year-old church. I once asked the RSS in a meeting when they said you are a foreign religion, how many years do we need to prove our domicile? We are over 2,000 years old here, and therefore we are not a foreign religion. We are very much an Indian tradition, Indian religion, and therefore our theologizing, while it takes from the Bible, is also very Indian. And I'll tell you how. Not about other scriptures only, not about other traditions only, but from the living and the life situation of our people. And therefore, while it is a foundation, we know it is divinely inspired, it's a revelation. In it we have the resurrection, the birth, resurrection, the ministry of Jesus. Everything is available there. But it does not become theology until and unless it relates to our own life situations. And therefore, theologizing in India is this: taking the Sitsim Leben, the setting in which we find the biblical word, and bringing it down to our own Sitsim Leben, our own life setting, our own living. And therefore, what has the Bible been as a forerunner to us in Indian theology? First, the biblical translations. Different languages already have the Bible for their own people in their own tongue. In this land, where we are more used to fight over languages and fight over caste and fight over things, the biblical languages, the biblical language itself, translated into different Indian language versions, has been a source of unity. And as a forerunner, the biblical translations are of great value. The second, as a forerunner of Indian theology, the Bible has provided the teaching material in all our seminaries. I must congratulate the Pontifical Institute. It completes 50 years, produced theologians, bishops, priests who are serving in different places with their own brand of theology that has grown up here. But this is not the only place that people learn theologizing. They learn in Tamil Nadu, they learn in Goa, they learn in Agra, they learn in Allahabad, different places, Ranchi. Every place, the source is the same, the Bible. And for some time, though we have moved away thinking that we could get our theology from Hindu scriptures and other scriptures, you can never move away from the Bible and into other scriptures unless you have your solid basis in the Bible. Otherwise, all your theology will be wrong. My last point is the theology for the future, and for which I want to devote a little longer time. If we want to theologize for the future, we have to first set out our concerns. What are our concerns for the church in India today? And I'll put out a few. First, the whole question of inculturation. I'm quite used to this. I have villages where there are only wires, no electricity in my diocese, so quite not a problem. And these are all human errors which will continue happening. No theology and no technology will take them away. So I was talking about the challenges that we face in Indian theology, which obviously come from Indian life. And I'll go more first from the academic parts and then the real life situations that we face. Academically, inculturation. This has been a bone of contention in India. And there's a reason for it. India does not have one culture. Let's make it clear. I'm bold enough to say it. I don't care who tells me that this is one nation, one election, one this, one that. We are many cultures with many subcultures, and these subcultures and cultures live together. In this type of a pluralistic situation, theologizing in inculturation becomes a big challenge. Sometimes I've started in my diocese, Aarti is not Adivasi culture. We have our own little thing with which we do our incensing. That is part of another culture that through inculturation has been imposed on Adivasi people. We take a little branch of a little twig, put it in a tumbler, put water in a tumbler and sprinkle. That is our Adivasi Shuddhi. But now we have started putting that and putting which is not part of our culture. So I refuse. Whenever I go for Mass, I refuse, because in that part of the world, inculturation has to be different from what happens in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Uttar Pradesh, for example. And this is very important, And the lesson for this comes from the Bible. You look at the way Israel crosses, and they're clearly instructed what they can accept and what they can integrate. Not everything from outside can be brought and said, this is our inculturation. I don't have time, details, because I used to work in the Pontifical Council for Culture, so I can speak for hours on this. Not everything is inculturation. It has to be based on biblical principles. And therefore, when you decide, I want to integrate this particular thing from the other cultures, the Bible teaches us you have to distinguish what is religious and what is cultural. If you take something religious from another religion and say this is inculturation for us, you change the tone of our religion. But if you bring something that is cultural from another culture and work it in, we always used to say at the Pontifical Council for Culture, biblical inculturation is this, that faith, rather the gospel is preached to the people express it back in their own cultures. That is inculturation according to the Bible. A second challenge, and excuse me, I'm a bishop who speaks what is in my heart. I don't care for diplomacies and political rightness. Casteism. We inculturated that in the Catholic Church. We should have never done that. We fight each other not over which God to believe in, not over what is right and what is wrong, but what is my caste, who is an untouchable, who is a Dalit. How can you theologize with that sort of a mentality? The Bible teaches us harmony. There is no Jew, there is no Gentile, there is no woman, there is no man. All that is left out of our theology. What is come is the dirt of our cultures has entered into the church. And until we get that out, no theology in India will be right. Until we learn to treat each other as brothers and sisters, that all of us are equal, no theology in India can be right. Whether you face the altar or you face the people and celebrate Mass, what are we fighting about? Is it Jesus Christ's worship that we are doing? No, these are hard questions. As a bishop, I would like to ask. And you are going to be the future leaders, or already leaders in some sense. You are the theologians of India. Think seriously whether Jesus Christ is more important or my caste is more important. Whether Jesus Christ is more important or my language is more important. Whether Jesus Christ is more important or facing the altar or facing other side is more important. Whom are we worshipping? That is, I left away my paper. I thought I'll get my reflections out to you because you are celebrating 50 years here. And 50 years of our theology should have produced something that takes us out from these pitholes of casteism, regionalism, languageism. How can we survive as a church if we fight each other? We have enough enemies outside. We don't require enemies within ourselves. Latin, Syro-Malabar, Syro-Malankara. Let us live our rights, but without fighting each other. Is there need? The Bible does not teach us to fight. It teaches us to unite. These are serious questions theologians in India have to ask if we want to theologize. My third serious concern is from the life situation of our people. We call ourselves the Vishwa Gurus. Come to my villages. 2/3 of my diocese and many dioceses. Bishop Rafi also will have many poor villages. Many. Come up little north, cross the Kaveri and come. We have people still living in the jungle, some of them still living on leaves and roots and honey. And we call ourselves among the 5 most developed countries of the world. We are going to go into trillions of dollars of economy. For whom? And what is our role as theologians amidst this people of poor, for the poor? The prophetic role does not teach us revolutions. Nowhere in the Bible Jesus says, go march, break down this, break down that. But in our prophetic role, we are supposed to testify. The minimum, serve these people. You as theologians, or upcoming theologians, Bishop Rafi and myself, we are on the way down, you are on the way up. What is going to be our role in this theologizing? Because what we don't realize, and I insist with my seminarians, cultivate the habit of reading. We don't read, not even the Bible today. How are we going to theologize? If you don't read about our situations, we remain in our cocoons. We never become butterflies. We have to come down to a situation and ask ourselves the question, we as theologians, what concepts are we going to bring out to the people so that practicing Catholics, practicing people out in the field have sufficient material to work on peacefully for the transformation of our society. The whole theory of wealth trickles from the rich to the poor does not function. Theology has to find solutions and answers which answer the cries of the people. And we who are missionary bishops, who go down to the villages, both Archbishop Rafi and myself, who go down to the villages, who cross, I tell people, sometimes people ask me, are the roads good in Daltonganj? I say sometimes my car travels on roads and sometimes on what looks like road. In those areas, what is the meaning and impact of our theology? For me, it is a very serious concern. And the final point, and I think with that my 20 minutes will be over, including or excluding the 2 minutes of the light break. So, my last point is a whole political situation. Let us not play cat and mouse with this. The minorities are having problems in India. And we as Catholic Church and Christians, we are also having problems. Some of the problems are also created by our own extreme groups that go into the villages and house pastors and what pastors and say a lot of things. But a lot of the things that we are being questioned and challenged. We have 9 states today that have anti-conversion laws. Until today, since 1952, nobody has ever been convicted on cases of anti-conversion. Nobody has been convicted, but many people have been jailed and kept in jail for many years. So it has become a tool of harassment. What is our prophetic voice? Are we ready to say what is wrong, what is right? That is a very big question. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, give unto God what is God. We are giving to Caesar what is God's also now. And it is a question young theologians must ask. Again, there is prudence required. The way we deal with authority, the way we deal with these instances is very important. But keeping quiet is not also a solution. Buttering authority just because we lose our FCRA, we lose our this, we lose our that is not an answer. Theology has to provide answers to the cries of the people. We have to go back to the Bible and see how persecution was faced in the Bible. We have to go back to the Bible and find all the answers. And that is why I say the future of theology does not lie in WhatsApp messages, on WhatsApp discussions that give you nonsense sometimes. I don't know how many of you are graduating from the WhatsApp university, but that is not a degree that is acceptable. Read your Bible properly, learn to reflect, learn to connect to the people, and you will be good theologians. Thank you very much. God bless you.